I say what? Ho, this is Brian. It's been a long time since I rock and rolled Gardner, and you are coming to you from the Devil's Hole, aka the subterranean studio in the new Ramble on Towers in beautifully scenic downtown Hespeler, Ontario. You are listening to Ramble on Radio, episode number 1,463. Wait, what's that? You missed everything between 146 and 1 million? Yeah, you, me, and we all missed all those other ones in between 146 and now. No, seriously, this is episode 147. It's just been a while. It could be up to about 1 billion if I, consistently did this thing. Anyway, this is Ramble on Radio, the almost only Led Zeppelin podcast on this or any other known internets. Carol Miller is now podcasting her show, so we're going to have to rephrase ourselves or something on that. I don't know what to do. Haven't given that much thought to it. It's only been 6 months. What can I say? Be sure to go to rambleonradio.com for all your Led Zeppelin news, reviews, and any links I might mention during the show. You subscribe to Ramble on Radio through iTunes and Google Play. And if you're in Apple iTunes or Google Play store, please leave a review. It helps. The more people who review it, the more their algorithms deem us to be important, this show to be important. Therefore, when other people search Led Zeppelin, the show is more likely to come up. It's also available on Podbean app at I Am Brian, damn it. Podbean has their own mobile streaming app. You can listen to us in the car, just like that. And you can also listen on the Stitcher Radio. And don't forget, Ramble on Radio on YouTube. This one is going to be YouTubed. I'm recording as we go here. Also, follow Ramble on Radio on Facebook and at Ramble on Blog on Twitter. Mostly Facebook. Actually, haven't done a lot. I've not done anything since November. I was fully planning to do a Christmas episode with my usual, the Christmas gifts. I had written it all out, the Christmas, and I just got busy. And then, how to explain the Adsense? Look, this is the 50th anniversary, and we're all kind of excited about the 50th anniversary. And then nothing started happening. We started getting things like snowboards and just stuff, but not music or the books or whatever, And I just knew I was going to come on here and start bitching. I don't want to do that. That's not why I do this, because I like, I don't do this anyway. So I just kind of didn't do it, and then I kind of didn't do it some more, and then I kind of didn't do it some more. And hence, next thing you know, 6 months have gone. So sorry about the Christmas episode, because I know you're all looking forward. Also, very sorry, actually. I was going to have a Peter Grant book to give away, and I never kind of did it. So to the guys over at, I forget the publishers' names, and I don't have their emails anymore anyway, because I've just got a new computer. I completely crashed. My other computer completely crashed. I lost so much. I'm still trying to salvage stuff. So I've lost all those emails and stuff. Which is too bad, because there is a Jimmy Page book coming out. They were going to keep me in the loop. I wonder if they're still going to. Hey, if you guys are listening, put me in the loop again. So yeah, the same people who published the Peter Grant book had a Jimmy Page book coming out. It was supposed to be this spring. I actually think there was one last year that came out that was Amazon only. And it should be in the next few weeks, I think. Available. I wonder if I can dig it up on my iPad. I know for ebooks, I kind of have it as a saved as I'm going to have to buy that. No, this is not this iPad. This doesn't have my books and stuff on it, so I don't know. So the what you heard, the intro, was Celebration Day from Tampa, Florida, May 5th, 1973. The ever-famous 56,000 people showed up, supposed the biggest show ever, etc., etc., etc. That happened carry the one, 46 years ago. 3 days ago. This is May 8th, almost the 9th. We wait about 30 seconds, it'll be the 9th. So that show, and this is leading to the in history aspect of all this. I kind of have my iPad up here. I was trying to dig up the Jimmy Page book. I'll get it for you next time. It should be out in the next couple of weeks. If you're not on Amazon, if you didn't buy it off Amazon, that one that was released last fall, late last summer actually, should be available. All right. Other in history, the 5th of May, 1973, the Tampa show. The 7th of May, 1974, the launch party for Swan Songs at the Four Seasons Hotel in New York. On the 9th, on the 9th, which it is now the 9th, it's now 12 o'clock, so the 9th, 1998, 21 years ago, Jimmy Page was on Saturday Night Live with Sean Puffy Combs, old the Puff Man, the Puffmeister, the Pufferoo. Pufferoo, yeah, really, eh? I have a brother-in-law who watches Saturday Night Live, loves Led Zeppelin, and this is where he kind of got into them. We think as Led Zeppelin fans, it's so embarrassing. But he was watching this show. He was kind of a punk guy, and he was watching this show. So Chris Salowitz, the definitive biography of Jimmy Page, is actually available now. Released on April 2nd. Oh, I missed the release date. $21.99 on iBooks and probably in your store. So there you go. There's one there. But apparently there's another one coming out. That might be hush hush still. I don't know. So the brother-in-law's watching Saturday Night Live. Jimmy Page comes on with Sean Puffy Combs and blows the place away. He's literally, it's an awful song. Puff Dad, whatever he was calling him, Puff Doggy, Puff Daddy, right? Snoop Doggy Dogg, Puff Daddy, right? So Puff Daddy doing this cashmere butchery. But Jimmy Page is all over the stage doing Jimmy Page, and he says it was mesmerizing. I've never seen anything like it. You can't think, because anybody who's seen Jimmy Page perform live, if you have, under any circumstances, he's mesmerizing to watch. He just draws your eye, and he did on this show, on this TV show. And so that's, my brother-in-law is like kind of a Led Zeppelin fan now. And that was the impetus behind it. So it's, we kind of think, but it brought people to the band. It brought people to Jimmy Page as a performer. Also on the 9th in 2008, 10 years later, Hard Rock Park in Myrtle Beach opened Led Zeppelin The Ride. And I think it lasted about a year. It didn't last that long, actually. In May 11, 1974, the band meets Elvis after a show at the Los Angeles Forum, kind of a legendary meeting. On the 12th of 1977, they received the Ivor Novello Award for the outstanding contribution to British music. And on the 14th, that's 5 days from now, 4 in Pacific time. It's the Atlantic Anniversary, the 14th, 1988, the Atlantic Anniversary concert. So that's 31 years ago. And that was on TV, and it happened like this time at night. Maybe wait an hour or two, and it happened. And they weren't very good. It was one of the embarrassing times they got back together. All right, so I kind of went away, and no excuses, no reasons. It just happened that way, and it has a lot to do with the 50th anniversary being such a dud. And I was kind of pumped for there's gonna be stuff. I'm gonna have stuff to talk about. It's gonna be weekly. I'm gonna have a weekly podcast for a while because there's gonna be so much good stuff to talk about, and none of it happened. It's such a dog, this 50th anniversary. which is fine, right? You don't have to celebrate your 50th anniversary. You don't have to do anything. Lots of bands, Jimi Hendrix's kind of 50th anniversary blew past a couple of years ago. And, with nothing. But nobody said anything officially. These guys made a fuss about they're going to really lay out, there's going to be new music for the 50th anniversary. They made a fuss about telling us that. There's going to be stuff for the 50th anniversary. And then we got the book, which is good. Little did we know that was it. We thought that's a good start, right? We got like a snowboard and a scarf and there's stuff like that. Some T-shirts. Mm-hmm. But ultimately, no word of music now. I kind of read, you read some internet forums and stuff. And there's a lot of suggestion that maybe, probably, possibly, kind of later in the year, they'll drop some 50th anniversary stuff because it hits the Christmas market. But they could have done that last year. Last year was kind of officially the 50th when they talked about it. And, we got playlists and stuff, right? And I think that's the point where the last episode, I think we talked about the playlist, and I kind of, is that what we're doing now? So it's hard to get motivated, and there was really nothing going on. That's the other thing. There's always all the time I've been doing this podcast, there's always been something there. There's always been something. There was really, for a period this winter, just a dead zone, and there was we got Robert Plant with a new band. These new guys but he just kind of did a few gigs, and that was it. And Robert Plant did a few things like that, but it was just one-off things, and it was like, there's not a podcast there, And so it just kind of, this got put to bed. And now we have something to talk about, sort of. There's going to be a documentary movie. It's part of the 50th anniversary celebrations. It's an official movie. I think I read the only people who will be interviewed in this movie are the members of the band and their families, or like I presume somebody from Peter Grant's side of things, and somebody from like Jason Bonham or Pat Bonham or something. But otherwise, members of the band. Hopefully Richard Cole will get his kick at the can in this. But it's going to be completely controlled. And it's a documentary on the founding of the band. It goes up to Led Zeppelin II. That's it. Which has caused some people to complain. And others to speculate why. Oh, they don't want to get into the drugs. They don't want to and I'm good at, my first thought was, really? Like the first year, that's it? That's all we're doing? But the more I think about it, if there's really unique footage out there, if there's a few snippets of sound, not whole concerts, snippets of sound that we've never heard before, that we never conceived of existing. If there's footage, film footage, John Bonham carried a camera with him on the first tour and took some, somebody took film footage, or something like that is existent. It's going to be 2 hours covering 12 months. It could be really interesting because it could be so in depth. Like if you cover the whole career of the band, then you're blowing out, every 10 minutes you're blowing out a year, basically, right? That would be 100 minutes. So that'd be an hour and a half, hour 40. So, and we get that there's footage of Nebworth, and they would show we get all that. But so if this develops into like really a rock solid documentary on that first year with all sorts of interesting footage, all sorts of interesting clips, it could be special. It could be fabulous, or it could be, really, pictures we've seen before with Jimmy Page talking over it. If it's that, it's going to be a disappointment. If there's actually some stuff, right? There was, there's a book where Robert Plant mentions hearing the tape to their first rehearsal. And I've talked about this before. That's something I'd love to hear. But maybe it's a cassette recorder in the corner and it's a blur. And it's so distorted. And you would never release it in a official record capacity. Get that. But in a movie like this, somebody playing that tape, you can hear that tape and you could, kind of hear that first rehearsal. That would be worth sitting for the 90 minutes to hear that 30 seconds of tape, right? Do you know what I mean? If they brought in snippets of stuff that you've not quite heard before, never seen before, then this could be excellent. Otherwise, it is what it is. So it'll be interesting to see. And I don't have a date for when it's out, but they just announced it yesterday. I don't know. Yeah, I don't have anything more on that. So we'll see. We'll see what it is, and I'm looking forward to the possibility. I mentioned that Robert Plant had been playing some. Well, I'm sitting back relaxing, and I got the camera on. You guys should be able to see me. He played some dates with a different band. And this band sounded, there's snippets on the internet. I'm sorry, I don't have the name of the band. I should, and I don't have the people in it. I should. But to be honest, whenever I take a long break from doing the podcast, I find the first one back, I just have to go with it. I just have to wing it. I can't focus on sitting down and I can't kind of get myself back into doing it properly. So I just kind of roll with it. And yeah, so this is what you're getting. You're getting a bit of a wing it today. The new computer's working good though. Sound system. I just got the program I use is called Hindenburg. If you're podcasting out there, it's the one you want. And I had to re-get. It's a pay. I had to re-get my registration number. So I did that just now. I just finally got that sorted out, and so it's working. It's working great. Normally, I can't hear myself. There's a delay from the mic to the earphones on my old computer. It's not happening on this. It's beautiful. This is really nice. Okay, but Robert Plant. So yeah, he had this band, and it was a lot like the Band of Joy. It had a female singer, and they were playing that kind of. It felt like a Band of Joy type thing. And when you check the links, the YouTube videos, and I apologize, I don't have the name, like I said. But he did maybe half a dozen shows with them. And now he's back with the Sensational Space Shifters. And he is touring. And I assume, anyway, that this is all Sensational Space Shifters. I should be checking this, shouldn't I? You see, I got all these links up going on. Show. He is touring. He's doing June. In June, he's doing Europe, Stockholm, Bergen, and I guess that's Holland, Hordaland, Trondheim, Hardstad, Bodo, that's in Nordland as well, Reykjavik, which I know this one is in Iceland, Tromsø, Longyearbyen. I have no idea what these places are. 2 dates at the end of June in this Longyearbyen, Halden, and Rushkild. That's all in June up to July 4th. And then in September, just this week, they announced a fall tour of the U.S. September 17th, it starts in Philadelphia, goes to Indiana, Louisville, Kentucky, Clear Lake, Iowa, Moorhead, Minnesota, Missoula, Montana, Spokane, Washington, Salt Lake City, Utah, and Bend, Oregon. And you get the feeling those are all Midwestern towns. You get the feeling maybe there's more to come. That takes you to, that's from, I should get this right. That's from Philadelphia, September 17 to October 3rd. So, you get the feeling maybe October into November is also going to be Robert Plant tour time. No talk of a new album. But I suppose he's got enough material collected over the years to put together something of a tour without a new album to support. Oh, I just looked up Jason Bonham because that's the next thing to mention. And, oh dear, Jason Bonham told a story in a school. This goes back to April. This story I'm looking at April 18th, so I'm going to say maybe around the 10th. It was about a week earlier. He told a story on Howard Stern show that Jimmy Page gave him cocaine when he was 14, for the first time when he was 14. In April 18th, he retracted that story very legally. very, very, let me read this to you. On or about April 9, 2019, that's very legalese, on or about, I, Jason Bonham, gave an interview on radio with Howard Stern. In that interview, I made certain untrue and derogatory statements concerning Mr. James Page, a.k.a. Jimmy Page, of the legendary band Led Zeppelin. I unconditionally retract all derogatory and defamatory comments relating to Mr. J. Page that I made in that interview. In particular, it is wholly untrue that Mr. J. Page offered me any illegal substances, either when I was a minor or at all. I apologize to Mr. Page unreservedly for making these unfounded, untrue comments about him. Out of my long-held respect for Mr. Page, I will make no further comments in this interview. I agree to make no further comments which Mr. Page might view as disparaging, either now or in the future. So saith the legal people. That is so lawyered up. Jimmy Page absolutely had his lawyers contact him say, yeah, you think so? Let's be clear. Jimmy Page had a major drug problem for a lot of years. He gave drugs to people through the years because that's the way it works. Because druggies, junkies, hand the needle, hand the spoon to other people at certain times. They do it because they think it's what other people want to do too. So this kind of suggestion in here that, Jimmy Page wouldn't offer anybody any illegal substance at any time in his life is just silly. This is what it is. This is very legaled up. And it's kind of a funny episode in a way between the two of them, which you do wonder how it hurts the relationship. Not that there's going to be tour or anything, I guess. And I'll tell you something out of school. I was told very confidentially enough years ago that I think I can say it now. Jimmy Page was extremely upset with Jason Bonham going out as Jason Bonham's Led Zeppelin experience in the first place. Extremely upset. To the point where the Celebration Day album was supposed to be released that year. And it was 3 years later before it was released. I think it was 2009 when they first went out. Maybe 2010. And that was supposed to be the year seller. And the idea was that they were going to piggyback the Celebration Day release to make the tour successful. And you remember originally it was going to be, it was the 30th anniversary of his death. So it must have been 2010. And it was going to be 30 dates for 30 years was supposed to be the plan. And they were going to sell out everything because this album and movie was coming out. So I was told that this was by somebody in the band. That this was the plan, and then it got kiboshed as soon as he announced the So there's been issues with Page and Bonham before. also told that I heard that 3 years after the fact, and was also told that that year at Christmas, Jimmy Page had bought Jason Bonham a Les Paul, and was kind of their way of making up. But I also told a story that they felt that first tour was cursed, and felt that was Jimmy throwing a curse about. And to the point where on their last date, or their last rehearsal, a power box transformer blew up in the rehearsal hall, and Jason Bonham hid in the closets. And it is, if you look back on the stuff from that tour, they had an awful run of weather. They went out in the fall. They went out like November, and were getting hit by bad snowstorms in upstate New York and stuff like that. They had awful weather, and that was all attributed to Jimmy Page's curse on the tour. By the way, make of that what you will. I was definitely told that over beers one day pre-show by somebody in the band, and I will say no more than that. Yeah, that's what I was told. That's all I can say. Make of it what you will. But yes, apparently there has been some conflict between Jimmy Page and Jason Bonham in the past. There is again. That's what we can say. Okay, so Jason Bonham is back on tour with the Led Zeppelin Experience with Mr. Jimmy. You know, can I say this? Can I do this one? Not interested. And I've seen them before. We've talked about them many times. And I really like them. I really like them with Tony Catania on guitar. And I'm actually, it looks like I'm going to see them. Just because my brother-in-law, the Saturday Night Live Jimmy Page Puff Daddy guy, called me one night and said, they're coming. You want to pick up tickets? And say, hey, James Dillon, if you listen, contact me. We're buying tickets, but love to kind of meet you after the show again. I might contact James. But I'm really not sure how interested I am in seeing Mr. Jimmy, making air quotes here for you people on the air. One of the things I liked about, there's a story that Jason contacted James about doing the gig, and James' first response when he got a phone call was, yeah. Who is this? You hear those stories of people say I thought he was joking. That's James. I thought he was joking. And his first question to him was, I won't have to wear they said, no, we're serious. We want a tour. He convinced them, this is Jason Bonham. We want a tour. We want you to be the singer. And his first question was, I won't have to wear the wig, will I? Wanted my dignity. And I kind of said to him, there was a band I was looking at joining, and they were kind of doing wigs and stuff. He says, no, keep your dignity. Keep your dignity. And so Mr. Jimmy thinks he's Jimmy Page, and does the dragon outfit and the hair, and it looks like him, and he acts like him on stage. And I'm kind of like, I don't know. You go to a classical concert, I don't want to see some idiot up there that thinks he's Mozart. I just want to hear the music, I would just rather these guys be themselves and lay out a show and entertain. And I don't want to see some guy who thinks he's Jimmy Page, because it's not going to work for me. It always seems silly to me. And it kind of the last couple, and they were coming on this tour, and I'm not sure. I just want to go. I don't even know if I want to go see it. Maybe I'm worried I'll like it. You know that feeling of, I don't want to see this. I don't, because I might like it anyway. You're getting old, kids. You're getting old when you don't want to go see something because you're afraid you might like it. That's a real crotchety old man thing, if ever there was one. I don't want to go out on a date. She might put out. And, I've seen a couple of ones. I talked about it last year. Oh damn, what was the name of that band? But it's a band in which they kind of do when you're in the audience and it's hitting, it works. That's the key. You look at pictures of it, or you watch videos of it online. You think is this ever lame? But when you're standing there and the energy's taking over, it actually works, right? And so maybe it'll be good. But I am going to. My brother-in-law called and says I was going to get tickets. You want to go see us? Yeah, okay. We'll go. I'll go. I think I'll get a Mr. Jimmy interview now. Think that's not a chance. Maybe. That's okay. That's okay. And I should say this. The first date. So I'm looking at I got the dates up for Jason Bonham here, and the first one is actually with Humphrey McGee's featuring Jason Bonham at Red Rocks Amphitheater in Morrison, Colorado, on June 23rd. And I did get a ticket to see Get the Lead Out So Get the Lead Out at Red Rocks Amphitheater. Let me pull it up. September 26th. And I shall be there, and I don't know, I might even try to do a podcast. I might try to do a live. See if I can get myself backstage and start running around with my phone asking questions. And, oh, by the way, check out Paul Hammond on Facebook. He's the guitar player for Get the Lead Out. And he's going to be in a podcast in the nearish future. I like tomorrow, which is today, in case you're confused. My new computer, every once in an hour, we have every other week as garbage out. Every week they take recycling and they take the green bin, but garbage is every other week. So I have it on my calendar. Garbage this week. And this new computer, for some reason, wants to tell me that every 45 minutes or so. I get kind of... So I'm having quite a day going, I know, garbage is already out. Anyway, so Jason Bonham is touring with Jason Bonham's Led Zeppelin Experience starting June the 27th. He's in Nashville, Salmentica, New York, Bethel, New York, Syracuse, New York, here in Kitchener on July 4th. That's when I'll be going to. July 5th at Casino Rama up the road, about 2 hours up the road, actually. Good luck getting that because it's a Friday. And that's cottage country. Believe me, man, you want to leave early that day if you're going up to Casino Rama. Then in Quebec City, the Festival du Quebec in Quebec City, Canada. That's July 6th. I think 2 years ago, Paul McCartney played that. It's a big on the hill, the Plains of Abraham on the hill, and kind of thing. And they have a big festival. And yeah, Paul McCartney a couple of years ago played it. All right, July 7, Guilford, New Hampshire. July 9th, Boston, Philadelphia, Cincinnati, Columbus, Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Home of Get the Lead Out, by the way. Well, close to. Rocky Mount, Vermont, Glen Allen, Vermont, Indianapolis, Indiana, July 25th, we're at now. Village of Clarkston, Mississippi. Missouri or Mississippi. Morgantown, WV, West Virginia. July 28th, Chicago, Hinckley, Minnesota, Maryland Heights, Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, August 5th, we're at. Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio, Louisville, Kentucky, Alpharetta, Georgia, Charlotte, North Carolina, Saratoga Springs, New York. We're in September now, September 1st. September 2nd, Montville, Connecticut. September 4th, Jacksonville, Florida. September 6th, West Palm Beach, Florida. 7th, Tampa, Florida. Simpson, South Carolina, Washington, D.C., New York, New York, Madison Square Garden, Jason Bonham, Led Zeppelin Experience. Tell me about this one, please. Raleigh, North Carolina, San Antonio, Texas, The Woodlands, Texas, Irving, Texas, Albuquerque, New Mexico, Phoenix, Temecula, California. From Madison Square Gardens to Temecula, California, in what's that? 16 days, 2 weeks basically. How do you like that? How's that for going down? October, we're up to October. San Diego, Paso Robles, California, Inglewood, California, the Forum, Black Oak Casino, Seattle, Washington, Ridgefield, Wisconsin, Concord, California. So, like, what's up with the Forum? I don't know. Yeah, the Forum, Jason Bonham, Led Zeppelin Experience. I'm thinking maybe they're opening for somebody of those big dates. Hard to imagine they're playing Madison Square Garden. Of course, I think Madison Square Garden has different stages, right? But that still surprises me. Huh. But there you go. Jason Bonham, Led Zeppelin Experience at Madison Square Garden. You can always play. You played the Garden and then played the Forum. So that's Jason Bonham is doing. He's on that tour. Okay, so that's. I really wasn't sure I was going to have much to say, and I probably didn't. Oh. So I go to the top. I'm going through the tour. This is tour dates page for Jason Bonham with Adsense Experience. Then I kind of did a little flip of the touchpad, and it brought it to the top. And at the top of the page, the tour dates page, it says Jimmy Page of Led Zeppelin, an apology. On or about April 9, 2019. Hi, Jason Bonham. I wonder if that's. Oh my. That's right there. Everything you asked for. Everything. Oh, they're on the Peter Frampton tour. So those dates. Yeah, 9/13, New York, New York. Inglewood, California, 10:05. That's the Peter Frampton tour. We'll be joining Peter Frampton on his farewell tour. So, and it goes like, here's June 27, June 29, June 30, Buffalo, New York. July 3rd, Syracuse, New York. And then there's 4 days off. But those 4 days in there, that's when they're doing Kitchener, July 4th. July 5th was Casino-Rama. July 6th was Quebec. July 7th, Guilford, New Hampshire. That's back to the Peter Frampton. So a lot of these dates are with Peter Frampton. And 1, 2, 3, 4. So all those dates I mentioned. Yeah, there's a lot of Peter Frampton dates in there. And very few actual solo Jason Bonham Led Zeppelin evening. Not experience, by the way, evening, right? Because the band, Led Zeppelin, requested that he concede Led Zeppelin Experience, as they were going to use it, and then they don't seem to have wanted to use it. What are you going to do, eh? All right. So we have come to that part of the evening when we do the must mentions. And I'm going to do a kind of, this is something a lot of people missed, and I don't even know what it is exactly. Record Store Day was recently. Got out and got very little. I was actually in Vancouver visiting. My daughter lives in Vancouver, and I was in Vancouver visiting my daughter on Record Store Day. Did get to a record store. By chance, I didn't desperately have to get to one, but by chance I did, and picked up the Dexy's Midnight Runners live at the BBC, which is excellent, except one of the records has the label out of place, and it actually covers the grooves, and so you can't play it. Today I was in a record store and found this from Record Store Day exclusive. Record Store Day exclusive. If you're on YouTube, you can see. And it is Sonny Boy Williamson, Don't Send Me No Flowers. Which I knew there was a Sonny Boy Williamson one. So it was not a big deal. I seen it and went, oh, good, that's available. And then you get looking at the cover. And there's a name on the bottom. Jimmy Page. I didn't hear anything. All the forums, all the websites, nobody mentioned that there's a Sonny Boy Williamson with Jimmy Page being released. And I have not opened it. So this is like an unboxing here on YouTube. Unless, of course, it's too hard to open. It's starting to seem like that's going to be the case. It does say on it, a rare blues jam session headed by famed bluesman Sonny Boy Williamson, the final recorded works of Sonny Boy featuring legendary guitarist Jimmy Page. Which I think this is the same as the London sessions. Like he did these sessions in London, and it was, there's the London Howlin' Wolf sessions. I think it was the same thing, and I think I actually might have the original record somewhere. But seen it and thought, oh, I'm going to pick it up, and it was after I picked it up. I was kind of at the cash when I realized, crap, it's Jimmy Page record. I want to see what's inside. The unboxing is going poorly here. I can't open this bloody thing, and I don't have a pair of scissors handy. And I can't, of course, put everything down and go running with a pair of scissors. So just do it this way. So I'm using a pen to open a record. Bad form all around them. And there's a booklet. Look at that. Oh, it's a poster. It's a poster. Oh. And it looks like it's a poster of harmonicas. It's actually the cover. And when you look at that, it's like harmonica henge. That's what it's kind of meant to be, I think. And it doesn't give you any other information than that. So there you go. But yes, if you're still going to the record store days, you're still looking for records. There is a whole blurb on the back, but by God, I can't read it. Yeah, I have to put on my reading glasses later and actually read it. But there you go. You want to know the songs? Don't Send Me No Flowers. I See a Man Downstairs. She Was Dumb the Goat. Walking Little Girl. How Old Are You? It's a Bloody Life. Getting Out of Town. That's from the collection, Sonny Boy Williamson, Don't Send Me No Flowers, featuring Jimmy Page. And that's a brand new, just opened today. Just bought and opened today. So that's on the collection. All right, that's going to be it for Ramble on Radio, episode 147, or 1,200,000,000, whatever I said. Check rambleonradio.com for notes on this week's podcast. Led Zeppelin news, reviews, and I will get back to, I have not been actually updating the website, so ignore that bit in a way, but I will kind of try and get back to doing so. Follow Ramble on Radio on Facebook and at Ramble on Blog on Twitter. You can subscribe, and Andy has been posting a lot on Facebook, been keeping the Facebook up to date with his, it's basically his blog postings, but so it's good that it's been kept active that way, at least. You can subscribe to Ramble on Radio through iTunes and Google Play. Whichever one you use, go to the store, leave a review. The review helps the algorithms find the podcast, which helps other people find it. Listen on Stitcher Radio. Download it from Ian Brian Dammit on Podbean, who have their own, have an app where you can stream it. And check it out at Ramble on Radio on YouTube, where this will be posted in the next couple of days. Thanks for listening to Ramble on Radio, episode 147. And we're going to close out with the last half, Solo On, from Celebration Day, Tampa, Florida, May 5th, 1973, the ever-famous 56,800 people show, supposedly the largest ever. Have a good night.